the mountain of Ingólfur. And Ingólfur was the first settler here on the south. And Ingólfur was a clever guy, I think. At one point he was searching for land, and he was sitting in his high chair. It was a high chair to show his position, and this chair had two wooden pillars on each side, and one wooden pillar on each side of the chair, so two wooden pillars, and they were decorated with symbols from the Norse mythology. So they were believed to be very powerful and very mystic. And at one point, Ingólfur takes these two pillars, throws them into the current, and he says, wherever these two pillars come to land, there I will settle. And it is here that his two pillars, these two pillars with symbols of the Norse mythology, came to land. Because here is where the west coast meets the south coast. And both the west coast and south coast are bathed by the North Atlantic Ocean. And the North Atlantic Ocean currents mix with other currents. For instance, from currents from the Gulf Stream. And this means two things. It means that the fishing grounds are very nutritious, and so we have a lot of fish, mainly codfish. And it also means that many driftwood comes drifting to the shores. And so that's why I say Ingólfur was a clever guy. He could read the currents very well. The driftwood has been very, very important for Iceland for many centuries. If you remember at the beginning of the tour, I told you that the settlers found this country, about 0.5% of the land was covered in some kind of vegetation. But there was a lot of destruction, so the Vikings destroyed all the forests that were here, and they were not very conscious of the need of reforestating the land. And even if they were, they would find that the trees have a hard time growing high because of two things: because of the volcanism, so the heat and the earthquakes that come from underneath. So that doesn't really help the roots to root and stay put for long. And in areas where that happened, the roots can stay there and are strong. Then the trees start battling the erosion of the climate. We have many different types of precipitation and wind, and sometimes, many times, the trees break under the wind, and in other times they just learn how to live with the wind. They just bend and keep on growing horizontally. So there was a lot of devastation, a lot of erosion, and so nowadays the land is covered in vegetation. Just about 1% of the territory is covered in some kind of vegetation.